Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here. Thank you for taking some time to join us. We are going to kick things off with Brad Keselowski, one of our 16 playoff drivers, the driver of the number 2 Team Penske Ford. Let's get right into questions for Brad here, and we'll kick things off with Chris Estrada. Go ahead, Chris.
Brad, thanks for joining us. Coming one spot short of that second title last year in Phoenix, how much are you thinking about that as you enter this playoff run? Do you use that as a source of motivation, or are you going in thinking that this is a new year, this is a new challenge, let's just get after it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I really have either of those approaches. Kind of going in and just trying to make the most of the opportunity that we have with the speed and execution we have with our 2 team, and can't really think too much about last year. It's not particularly all that relevant to this year with different car rules and things of those nature. So I think my goal is just to make the most out of what we have.
Thank you.
No problem, Chris.
All right, we'll take our next one from Michael Shelton. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you very much. Well, Brad, obviously a couple weeks ago, Team Penske made the move to switch spotters between you and Joey Logano's team, and now TJ Majors has been your spotter the last couple weeks. Just how would you describe the chemistry working with him, and how ready do you feel that you guys are as you enter the playoffs?
Yeah, I think we've always worked very well together. TJ and I have, going back 12, 13 years ago when we first started working together, and the chemistry is outstanding, and certainly I think that's one of the strengths of our team.
And how much are you looking forward to being back at the Southern 500? You know what it's like to taste victory there. How much are you craving to be in victory lane again at Darlington?
Well, it's a really tough, challenging racetrack, and that's what makes it so rewarding when you have success there. Winning in 2018 was one of the highlights of my career, and winning once is great. Winning twice is even better. So hopefully we can do just that.
All right. Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
No problem.
All right. We're going to take our next question from Kenneth Hawkins. Go ahead, Kenneth. Can you hear me? I'm not sure. It looks like you're muted still if you're.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go.
Brad, let's look ahead forward to Bristol for a second. Talk about Bristol being in the playoffs as a transport position this year. Do you think racing will get a little bit more wilder at that place?
Yeah, I think last year was a pretty compelling race. It was in the same position last year, being that kind of last race of a round. And I think going back and rewatching it certainly led to some exciting moments for sure accordingly. So, yeah, absolutely. I think it's good for our sport.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Kyle Bolton.
Hey, Brad. So in a little over a week, it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And I just was curious where you were on that day and how it impacted you. I think you were 20 years old or 17 years old in that area. So give me a little sense of that day.
Yeah, I was 17. I was a high school senior, and it was a very interesting day, to say the least. Sad day in a lot of ways. It was one I'll never forget, that's for sure. It's hard to believe that was 20 years ago. Back when you first said that, I said, nah, that's wrong. But you're right. It's 20 years ago. It's been a whirlwind for sure since then, of all different things that are going on worldwide. But, it was a tough day for sure.
Thanks. Good luck this weekend.
No problem.
All right, Brad, I'm going to ask you a question here from Zach Sterniolo with Front Stretch. When you see the recent success Ryan Blaney has had, does that impact your expectations for your own number 2 team in any way? Or are those two too dissimilar from the tracks ahead?
No, it doesn't particularly, stand out to me. I'm happy for him. I think Ryan's done an excellent job of putting himself in good positions and then executing around that. He's certainly riding a wave of momentum that I think everyone should be proud of, and I'm happy for him with. So I don't know if it particularly impacts me at all.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Daniel McFadden. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, Brad, over the weekend, you said you didn't believe that Fords would be able to legitimately win on the 550 tracks in the playoffs. I was wondering if you could just expound on that and what you think is holding the Fords back at that with that particular package.
We just haven't shown the speed. The combination of kind of off-season rules enforcement changes and the parts freeze just kind of completely neutered us as a group, and haven't shown that speed all year long. I think the closest we've been is probably Ryan Blaney in Atlanta, which was more kind of that long run speed and smooth driving than anything else. I think he executed very, very well. But outside of that, I can't recall a moment where I've seen the Fords be in a spot of dominance or a spot where they've controlled a race at a 550 track.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, we'll take our next question from Eric Smith. Go ahead, Eric.
Thank you. Yeah, Brad, I'm curious, where do you feel like your championship chances sit right now? Do you have to be championship ready going into the playoffs? I know it's 10 weeks. That's a long time. Or do you have time as the playoffs go on to find that championship level?
I have no idea. I've entered this playoff deal before, having won, 2 races, entering it just like Blaney has, and been knocked out in the second round. I've entered it having won 5 races and got knocked out in the third round. I've entered it before having 0 speed and, not feeling very good about it, and made it all the way to the final 4. So no one really knows. I've got, 5 or 6 years experience doing it. I don't know. So with that in mind, I try not to think about it, to be quite honest. I try to just go out there and make the most of what I have and not allow any of those connotations to, either build overconfidence or to pull me down.
Do you feel like you're there now? Do you feel like your team is capable of a championship as you sit going into Darlington right now?
I think there are aspects of the team that have, historically shown some strengths, but it's really irrelevant to what actually happens in the future in my mind. So I have no idea. I know that I'm going to do all I can to execute it and to put ourselves in a position to make the most of whatever we have at the racetrack on any given day. But I can't quantify that to say that we're here or we're there. There's just too many pieces outside of my control.
Thanks, Brad. Good luck this weekend, man.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next question from Marty Sakala. Go ahead, Marty.
Actually, I'm good. Give it to the last 2. Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next one then from Mitchell Brewer. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Brad, how important do you think a good start in the round of 16 is to having a successful playoff run?
Outside of, kind of getting to the round of 12, the first round really is not super impactful in my mind. It's really the third round that I think is super important.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right, we're going to take our next question from Tucker White. Go ahead, Tucker.
Brad, as we've seen with the high downforce package, that especially deep into a run, overtaking the race leader becomes a Herculean task. So given that, what do you say to people who claim that the package puts less emphasis on driver skill and more on random luck?
Yeah, it's hard to say. There's always been a balance of random luck in the sport. That has been since the inception of motorsports versus, talent and preparation. Now, you can make arguments that those scales have shifted a little bit over the years, but it's not as though it's never been a play or a part of our sport. I do think that, there's some arguments to be made that, over time, the driver has become less or more important depending on the racetrack and the position. So it's another one of those things that I think is super hard to quantify, at least objectively. There were different rules packages where I felt like the driver made a bigger difference. And then there's things that come into play that have nothing to do with the rules. Shoot, weather or some kind of ambient track condition. So it's hard to give a great answer to how big a difference a driver makes on any given weekend.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, and we'll take our final question from Marty Sakala. Go ahead, Marty.
Thanks, Marissa. Brad, I saw your tweet on Ryan Blaney. So as you get ready for your final 10 races with Team Penske, do you see Ryan as possibly the #1 guy at Penske next season?
Well, I hesitate to say anybody's the number one guy. I think the results are what answers that. If he goes out and continues to do what he's doing, then, his results will pretty much answer that question. Right now, he's won 3 races, and Joey and I have won only 1 race. So he's certainly making a good case for him being in a position of strength at Team Penske.
Appreciate it. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
All right, Brad. Well, thank you for taking some time with us. We will let you head off to your next stop, and we wish you the best of luck in the 2021 playoffs.
All right. You can keep me here if you want, and then we'll just skip the other ones.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we can do that, but we appreciate you wanting to stick with us. Thanks so much and good luck.
Take care. Thank you.